Hi there. Welcome to another episode of Sipping Tea. I'm now, in fact, drinking tea. So, just because I know you're curious, this is a Moroccan organic tea. It's a green tea. You get it at Trader Joe's. Mint. It's quite tasty. So far, so good. So, I will be, in fact, sipping tea. It's scalding hot, and that's good. That's very appropriate because I'm also personally quite hot right now around PPP loans. So you may remember in our last episode, I ripped on them pretty hard, and I'm going to do it again. So today is April 29th. We're 3 days into the second round of PPP loans. So if you don't know, there was another $310 billion put into the PPP program. So the total is now something like $660 billion helping folks out, which is a great gesture. There were a lot of problems in the first round, and some of those problems were fixed. So good news is public companies no longer qualify, and if you were one of the public companies that took one of the loans, you have to return it, which is good. It's funny, like all these companies that you've heard of, like Shake Shack and Hallmark and Ruth Chris are like, oh yeah, well we didn't know we didn't know that you were going to run out of funds, so we're giving the money back. And they're trying to make this into like a good thing. Their PR departments are kind of working overtime. Don't let them get away with it. It was not a cool thing. Just because your hand fits in the cookie jar doesn't mean you should be taking a cookie. Yeah, you qualified technically, but that's also because just the qualification bar was so low. You should have known that you didn't need it. You shouldn't have taken it. Like the LA Lakers, even private companies, like so the LA Lakers are returning their money. Like they clearly don't need a small business loan. Like it's ridiculous. Anyway, so it's great that some of that is happening. They're now capping the loan amount. I think up to $10 million now. The government is claiming that they're going to do a full audit of anyone who takes a PPP loan, which may or may not be true. I'm very skeptical. And the audit is being called, like they're going to look at companies that, like, did you use it for 75% of payroll? Um, that's not really a strong audit. It's really easy to go and just shift the dollars around. So yes, these dollars I applied to this payroll bill. Like it's not a great audit. Um, so the problems are that it's still first come first serve. So did you apply earlier than your neighbor? Then you get the loan. And that seems but absolutely bananas to me. It should not be first come first serve. There should be some filter on who needs it the most. That's how it should work, and it's crazy to me that it's not. Um, it still somehow depends on your banking relationship. Like how close are you with the bank? Of course, banks care more about the larger and more important businesses. So the smaller businesses have to like struggle through getting noticed when larger companies are noticed. A lot of the larger banks now have automated systems, so this is becoming less of an issue, but still is in fact an issue. And the banks aren't really doing any diligence at all. They're just going and saying, cool, you met the very low quality bar, so we're going to go and just pass your application through to the SBA. So the math, of course, is going to totally break in this scenario. 660 billion in loans are available. According to the Daily Caller, they wrote an article saying on the first day, so the in this second batch, so that was just a few days ago on Monday, they said $48.5 billion in loans were given out. Over 450,000 loans were processed. So if the math there is right, the average is about $110,000 a loan. If that average holds true, you look at about $660 billion in loans, you divide that by 110,000, you're going to get about 6 million loans. So first of all, there's no way they're doing any real audit. Like how do you possibly audit 6 million loan applications? It's not going to happen. But more importantly, how like they're still going to run out. Like this thing is, if they did $50 billion on Monday and the website crashed, they're going to be running out in the next. Like if we get through the week, I'll be surprised. Maybe in the next week, there are way more companies that need loans then are available dollars, even if the average it stays at 110K. So how do we fix this, right? Like, what's the right thing to do? Instead of just complaining about it, I thought I'd maybe suggest a couple of things to help make this process work a lot better. And I realize that it's unlikely that this is going to affect any change, but it's at least worth calling out as a thing that we should start pushing for as the American people. So first, it shouldn't be first come, first serve. There can be first come, first serve elements of it, but we need to be having some level of check on, do you need the money or not? So what I would propose, since the banks are already doing, like, asking due diligence questions, are saying, look, how many dollars do you have available to you as a company? How many are in your bank account? What sort of credit lines do you have? What existing loans do you have? How much cash can you get your hands on? Question one. Question two is, how much did you spend in March to run your business? That's a month ago, so it should be at least some sort of indicator of what your burn rate is. You might be able to ask like an additional qualifying question of like, how much did you spend on payroll, since this loan is directly addressing your payroll expenses, to help ensure that you can keep paying your people. Let's do that, right? Let's just ask those questions. And then you divide those two, right? How much you spend in March, how many dollars you have in the bank. That's how many months of runway you have left. That's when your business goes out of business, is when that hits zero. Great. If it's greater than, let's say, 3 months, you are not someone we're talking to right now. You have applied too early. Let's talk later, right? So let's just punt those out. And then the remaining are the people that get a loan. So in a sort of immediate, like every day you analyze it. So today, how many people applied? How many people have 3 months of runway? Great. Then you, or less than 3 months of runway, you get a PPP loan. If you don't apply when you meet this criteria, now you have a prioritization scheme. I'll bet you the number of loans drops from 6 million down to probably, I would guess, 500,000, maybe even less. Now you can actually give those loans out to the people that need them the most. So it's not this like cutthroat, can I get through the website to get the funding? You give it to the people that need it in priority order. It's so common sense to me. It's crazy. Because how many companies are going out of business because they just can't get through the process? It's nuts. So do that. And then here's the spicy thing, and I need another sip of my lovely Moroccan mint tea. You publish all this shit. You publish all that data for everyone in the world to see. Why? Because you, the PPP applicant, are asking the American people to go and finance a loan to help keep your company alive. It's literally my dollars and all of our dollars that's funding your loan. What does that mean? As the person who is backing your loan, I would like to know that you need it. And I would, since it's our dollars, so I would like to see your revenue. I would like to see how much you spent in March running your company, how much you spend on payroll, and what your runway is going to be. And that should be a published list. And also, if you get a loan, how much was the loan? And I think that should be published for every single company that gets one. Why is this private? Why is that something that shouldn't be shared? You said you needed our dollars. I would like to see how our dollars are being spent. And then we can go and look at that together. And you know what we're all going to do? We're going to sort by loan amount and see who got the biggest loans and see if you needed it. Now, it shouldn't be a problem if you did the thing I just said earlier, saying, look, there's a 3-month restriction. But if there's not, and it's just free willy, you can go and see the companies that did not need this money at all, that are private, that asked for the money, our money, to go and finance their business and asking eventually for a grant rather than a loan. Hell no. Like, let us audit that. Let the American people audit it. And you do that by publishing and making the data available. It's crazy to me that we don't even know who gets these loans, and it's our money. So that's me fired up. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Sipping Tea with Jager. And it's time that we demand that. Like this is something that shouldn't go away. We need to ask for this. I don't understand how people aren't already asking for this. Let's make it an issue, and let's get visibility into how our dollars are being given out.